performance from you. Just when the decision was being read, how did you feel about it? Did you feel you did enough to get the win there?
I definitely, felt like I did enough. Slightly shocked, but I felt like I kept my composure. Went inside his world and definitely survived it, and I'm glad to come out with the W.
Yeah, in the third round in particular, when it's kind of coming down to the wire, and then you just spend so much of that time on your back with the body triangle, like what's going through your mind there? Because he's not really doing any damage, but he's holding you in a position, and it's like it's just burning clock more or less. Do you worry that that's kind of going to turn the tide?
For me, I knew that it might play a part in the judge's favor. I tried to stay as calm as I could. At one point, I really tried to. I was like screaming a little bit, but he was so strong. When I figured out that wasn't working, I just went back just to relax, hoping the referee was standing up. The referee was just looking at me like, okay. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna chill here and try to hit as much as I could. But I was in danger, but the main thing was just to stay poised.
Seeing Miles win earlier on the card as your new teammate, did that help you going into your fight?
Yeah, we saw Miles fight. I literally got here when he was performing, and I trained with him. I saw all the hard work he went through, and he did unbelievably. He weathered the storm. He went out there, and Miles quiet, and to see him go out there and took out a guy in his country, and I know everyone was cheering for that guy, and I've met that guy before. The fight world is cool, but I'm proud of him, man. He's a stud. He sacrificed so much to be here, so it set the pace for me, and I was like, okay, I definitely can't mess up now. So.
You've had a lot of wins in the UFC. Where does this one rank, just with the performance and everything you got to display in this fight?
For me personally, I felt like I just got over a little hump. I knew he was definitely probably the best in the league with his ground skills, and for me to survive that, I'm sure a lot of the other guys who I don't think have a better ground game than him ahead of me is like, all right, well, now I have to fight you right into this world, and that's already a dangerous path. So I slightly felt like I wasn't the best, but I'm my worst critic, and for me, that's a good thing to tell me I need to work on those holes to improve, to get better, to make sure that doesn't happen.
You mentioned the strength and conditioning program at Fortis. You kind of fell in love with it when you went over there. How key was that tonight when you fought a fight like that?
Oh, it was money. I can't tell you how many times we put ourselves in that uncomfortable Houdini position. Back position, let them get our backs, side control, takedowns, just get up over and over and over. So working with the Fortis MMA with all the guys, Ryan Spann, who's a 205er, that guy is strong. And for me to feel strong, lighter than him, definitely helped. Of course, with Mike Scatia, who's a strength and conditioning program, man, we worked so hard with the combination of those two. I literally felt I was at my elite self. So I'm grateful.
You imagine coming in, the Adesanya fight being one that you'd love if Whittaker gets hurt. After a war like that, you still feel like that's something you'd be ready for?
We'll see what happens. Right now I think after all that hypeness, I'm like, let me just play the card, right? Definitely want to go at Brunson. I feel like he's perfect for me right now to beat up, and he's ahead of me. And I know we fought before. I felt like that didn't really, I don't think he really won. I got dropped, and Herb Dean just jumped in to save him instead of me. So I definitely want that fight back. I definitely think he's someone I could beat to get to that ranking.
Do you think the road to the top, though, is maybe a little bit shorter now? Because you've seen, Jacare has gone from the division, Rockhold, Weidman. They've all moved up to 205. So that's like 3 ranked guys ahead of you that are no longer there.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Who knows? I know when you get older in the sport, you don't want to put too much. I did read about Chris Weidman moving up, but I know for us, man, if you don't hang out at close to that weight, it makes it hard. A lot of 85ers I know walk around at 225. That sucks. I've gotten to 230 one time and I was freaking out. So maybe it's a lot easier to focus more on training than the weight cut, because I know for me, a lot of times if I'm like 215, 220, I'm focused on the weight cut instead of training myself. So maybe that's a good step for those guys. They've been at 85 for a long time. It's less of a struggle. Good for them.
What was it like backstage? New coaches, new voices, new people warming you up. What was that like?
I'm a student, so I'm always gonna learn to listen, and it was a different type of rhythm. And of course, me being at Fortis MMA for a while, he helped me understand. He yells at me every time I do silly stuff. Literally, if I'm here, that's a problem. So I like that. Someone being on me to constantly make me improve those mistakes. I felt I didn't listen too much, but I listened enough because, there's everything going around. But it was perfect. He did a fantastic job. We stayed calm and poised because that's what you have to do in that type of battle. You know, you can't be like all rally and stuff.
Just a couple here, Uriah. First, back on a winning streak, looking composed, looking refined. What's the biggest difference between the Uriah of today and the Uriah Hall that people saw coming up in The Ultimate Fighter?
I know for the Uriah Hall, I can't believe I'm talking like this. The other Uriah. Back in the tough house, you know, I was a different stage of my life. I was 20 years old. I lost my job. I bought a one-way ticket. I had no way of coming home. I bought a one-way ticket going to Vegas, and if I don't make this, I'm done. I don't even know how I was got to sleep on the street. And at that time, that fueled me, and that was my fire. At some point, I felt distracted, whether it's listening to people, being around the wrong people to not help me elevate. But I'm constantly in that martial arts aspect to say there's always a way out, you know, because that's one of the things I learned about being a martial artist. You can never give up, no matter what. And through that, depression comes around sometimes. I've spoken to champions that have gone through that. So it's about staying regimented, staying focused, and of course you're going to hit those humps. But after being at Fortis, and I personally feel that the connection we've built, and the best way I can explain it's like dancing. If you guys kind of have each other's rhythm, it makes it easier. You're not stepping on each other's toes. But if you do step on each other's toes, it's like, all right, well, let's do this and let's do this so we both don't step on each other's toes. It's just communication. And what I love about him, you know, we don't just talk about the fights, you know, that's one aspect of it. I'm an athlete, but I'm also a human being too. So how can I utilize this stage, this platform to do other things, whether it's movies or having a better financial situation so I can give back in whatever way. So it definitely played a part where at 35 years old, I'm not just thinking of going out there anymore with that. I'll fight anybody. I got to be strategic. I got to do the right things.
You talked about immediate days for the humanity in this, and you're going to punch your opponent in the face, and you're going to feel bad about it. How was that tonight? How was it balancing those two parts of the game?
Well, I definitely felt bad after, but during, I didn't feel bad. And again, me and Carlos know each other. You know, in the beginning, I remember telling Coach, and he was like, "Yo, let's fight this guy." I don't want to fight him. We're kind of cool. Well, put that out the way. So, well, we had to tuck that emotion aside because it's business at the end of the day, and you know, we saw each other walking around like, hey man, sorry bro, we got to beat each other up. But me and Kelvin are cool. I'm sure if me and Kelvin are supposed to fight each other one day, we'd be like, all right, let's just beat each other and get it over with. It's business at the end of the day, you know. No emotion is going to save you. It's actions. So once we made that a legit plan, it was easy to go out there and just do work.
The jab was working early and often. Was that a big part of the game plan to keep him at bay?
Absolutely. The jab, probably I don't even know how to kick anymore. But just training at Fortis, working with some of the great guys, man. Jeff, who's on me like white on rice, really had to put me in that uncomfortable state to really throw that jab, and that was the game plan. Just come out here. I've thrown so many jabs, I forgot to do everything else. But it was just sticking to the game plan, and even if we fall off a little bit, go over a hump, we get right back on it, and that's just being disciplined.
It seemed like you broke his nose really early in the fight. Did you notice right away?
I was like, what is this pour of water all over me? I remember I had my back and I just felt stuff coming down. I'm like, is he bleeding? And I thought I cut him in the head, but apparently it was his nose. And I was like, well, if I can hit him on him a little bit more. I think I caught him on it a couple times, but I didn't know I broke it.
When he's on your back and then you finally get him off in the knees in your world, what's that feeling like? Because you must have a moment of like, oh, my turn.
That felt great. I knew it was dangerous there, so we've done it so many times. I mean, I can't tell you how many times. I lost count how many times we got up. We got on the floor, we got up. One day, 45 minutes of just getting up, getting up, getting up. So it became a second nature. It's like wiping your ass. Actually, don't call me up. It's like brushing your teeth. You do it so much you don't think about it. So we put ourselves in a lot of uncomfortable position. In the back mount, I've been in the back mount for a lot of time. The Ryan Span, who's a big guy. So I just learned to stay calm. I was like, I've been here before. This is fine. He was very strong. I couldn't turn him, so I was like, I'm gonna just chill out, hoping the ref would turn it, but he didn't.
You've been in this game for a while now, right? But listening to how you talk about your training, listening to you talk about this fight, is this something of a maturing performance for you? It feels like you're sort of breaking through a shell. I think we've seen you on there before.
You're absolutely right. I definitely feel me coming out here tonight like I was probably fighting for the second time. The first time was in the tough house. This was like that second stepping out of the shell. It felt great because I sacrificed everything. I gave everything. In the training camp, I was thinking, was there something I could have done more? So for me to let it go in there and having a great support system, I was very proud of myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys.